feel like it's like a Between Two Ferns interview. Okay, keep going. Oh, do
My
you have
plants
ferns?
died. My plants
Oh,
died. I'm sorry.
you have
It,
literally nothing but time to take care of things around your house. Like, that's literally all I've been doing to stay sane. How'd you let plants die?
I used to work with a guy who asked when I was getting excessively fat, and I said that I really hate going to the gym. He's like, "How can you possibly not go to the gym?" And I said, "I'll tell you what, when you start, it gets really easy to stay dedicated." So I did, and I got really fat.
What does that have to do with your plants dying?
Once you stop watering them, then it's easy to forget.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. We'll go
I'm
with
gonna be
that.
honest,
Well,
I'm not even cutting out this intro. This is gonna be the best intro of all Oppenheimer interviews. So, with that in mind, welcome to our 78th from last
mhm.
Oppenheimer interview with Madison Sconiers 20 over 20. Thank you for joining us tonight. The real question to start this whole thing off, how do most people know you?
Um, well, I am a Des Moines local, so my face has been around for a while, for some time. But I do get involved with different community organizations. I'm on a few different ones right now. I'm actually on the James B. Morris Scholarship Fund. I'm also active in my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, with the Des Moines Iota Zeta Omega chapter. I'm actually the chair for this year and last for our scholarship cotillion. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we have not been able to have our usual ceremonial ball. Kind of sucks about that, but everybody's health is way more important. But I think that's it. I go to a lot of different festivals and activities, so I meet a lot of people there. Horrible with names, but I always remember a face. I hope people remember mine, with or without hair. But yeah.
I wasn't sure if the way you identified that with you realized that I screwed up the way of getting you paid the first time for the cotillion, and I don't think I have actually done the second round.
No, no. Give me that money. It's tax deductible. And you've promised and failed 2 years in a row. You can't cut this out.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm.
been 2 years in a row. Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, I got nothing on that.
Moving on.
So, someone needs to help get us moved on that off that one,
What's your
and I
next
will,
question?
which is putting aside my inability to pay an invoice for a cotillion, which I will actually double.
Okay.
However, if you could wake up and do anything tomorrow, money, location, experience, no object, like you just woke up and said, this is what I want to do today, what would you do?
Ooh, I don't necessarily have a specific location in mind, but what I would really love to do is wake up in a place that was close to the beach, as well as close to mountains, because I would really love to take a hike right now in some place that's warm but not nasty hot. Um, and then after I was done hiking for a few hours, then I would just want to like chill on the beach, and that would be like my dream right now.
So, Gray's Lake.
Oh God, no. I tried to take my kayak into Grays Lake and I was so mortifyingly disgusted. Like I even had water shoes on, and when I got out to take my boat out, I'm just like, this is disgusting. All I feel is sludge, 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 and then it smelled like death. So no, it was not, absolutely not Grays Lake. It's cool for like running, but it's just like, man, in that water, it's questionable.
Well, I'm gonna show my bias because I'm gonna say I have as much as everyone else says it's completely horrible, and I agree. I still will hang out in the water. It's about as good as Gulf Coast of Texas. I mean, it's like Galveston. No sharks.
I mean, the only upside is the fact that there is no sharks. But you know where there's not sharks too? The Caribbean. And you know what you can see the bottom of? The ocean. Like, I would just rather go to a place like that where I know if something happened to be approaching me, before it approached me. Grays Lake is not one of those places. And neither are a lot of places in the state of Iowa. But Grays Lake is not one of those things that I would want to risk. Just too many smells. I'm very smell sensitive. Mm-mm.
It is pretty nuts though, like the whole water piece. Like we had Seth Watkins was our lead off, 20 over 20 plus Heimer interview. And one of the big things that he has been working on for years is like net zero farming and water quality.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is amazing to think about how aggressively poor our water quality is. Like,
Yeah.
just, I mean, I grew up in Van Meter, which is used to be a very tiny town of no repute besides being the hometown of Bob Feller, Rapid Robber, Hall of Fame 63. No big deal. Or as my brother says, a future home of Mike Draper.
Oh God.
It is interesting. I never was growing up into the group that's like tubing and kayaking and such, right? Yet,
I love doing that stuff, which is why it's like a constant battle in the summer. I want to do those sports, but it's like, with the water. So, I mean, sometimes I have to bear through it and then carry a lot of wet wipes.
yeah, it's almost like the pre-COVID preparation where you're like, okay, I've got to sort of give myself an antiseptic barrier. Not by
Yeah.
like ingesting bleach anally or anything like Trump recommends, but like just in some way disinfecting your general space.
Yes. Absolutely. There's a group of girls, or actually guys and girls, that I go camping and kayaking with every summer, and we do go tubing quite a few times. I was supposed to actually go camping this weekend, but the rain killed that. But it's like, yeah, I would say my outdoorsy experience and love for that has definitely made me like whatever for this COVID thing. Like, I already have 3 first aid kits in my house. Like, my friends always know I'm ready to go and I'm always prepared for something. I literally keep first aid kits in my car. I have all that stuff. Always got water in my trunk. Like, you just never know when something may happen. And look,
It's sort of fun.
I'm prepared. Like, I haven't been scared really through all of this, which is a little shocking. But
I
yeah.
know. You laid this out as if like you're the city person and I'm like the hillbilly, but it turns out, in all reality, which I wasn't going to throw in your face,
You don't
you're
even
actually the rural middle of nowhere camping person. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'll get a hotel.
Yeah, no, I have friends that are like, yeah, Madison, we'll go camping with you. If it's like a cabin with AC, and I'm just thinking like that's not camping, but I'll take it. Like, I'm definitely willing to compromise. Make them feel comfortable. Maybe next year they'll go out into the wilderness and put some stakes down.
Yeah, maybe they'll use a kaibo someday.
Yeah, someday. Or forget that, just dig a hole in the ground and well, the ladies that I go camping with, we have a very nice outdoor toilet facility. We pre-dig our holes. We even bring like kitchen racks, like the metal ones that you usually put like seasonings on in your cupboards. No, like we have one specifically for putting our toiletries on, so that even though you're in the woods and taking care of business with no door, you don't have to be an animal about it. Like, mm-mm.
I'm gonna be honest. When you start off with when you dig your hole, then you have kitchen racks. I was really curious where that was going.
Yeah.
I'm glad it went in a direction that didn't need more sanitary wipes.
Okay. Okay.
But for a minute, I was like,
Definitely kept it PG. I mean, I know that you post these kinds of things, so yeah, let's try and stay as PG as possible.
It's all about grid separation, so I wasn't
Yeah,
sure how
what you're
is.
thinking does happen, but there's no need to address it.
Then we'll leave it be.
Next question.
However, so in your first two answers, I think you've undersold some of your engagement within Des Moines and some of the things that you have been involved with in the level of change. A lot of the people that you have been associated with, or related to, or working with for years, there is a level of progress within neighborhoods like where I'm at in the Drake neighborhood, where would not have been possible without a lot of people that you have sort of been in circles with. It's sort of like thinking these are normal people, right? I mean, it's like you live your life with people who you think are just like, oh well, that's auntie, or that's this person, or that's that, and like the rest of us like, wait, you know them, and that part is quasi amazing. But what
I
it
will
means is like, well, no.
keep going.
Let me get to a question. I've only got we've only got 4 questions in 15 minutes. We have not yet made 15 minutes in your. This may be lucky number 3. However, with the experience you've had seeing with Des Moines traditionally and nationally, everyone thinks it looks like me. And the reality of Des Moines is that we are different, but clearly not either equal or equitable. And there have been so many people like yourself and Cam and others who have really pushed to make changes. If you could snap your fingers tomorrow and say, these are the 3 things that I would say that I'd change the world, whether it be locally or nationally. Like if you say, I'm waking up, I'm in charge, I'm Thanos, not like kill everyone
Not
tomorrow.
yeah.
If you do, though, I mean, just if I can be in the second half, I'd be cool. I just want to be in the sequel. However, if you could change anything, what are the 3 things you do tomorrow and say, these are done, this is the 3 most important things we're going to fix?
Yeah, I think most importantly, I would change the hearts of people. I think in today's world, there is a lot of focus on the I instead of the we, and not really realizing that everything that we do really truly does impact one another, whether directly or indirectly. And I started thinking more about this. Random side note, I was watching one of the random local channels, and it was this like weird 1980s Australian outback movie. Like it was literally an Australian movie. And the premise was this alien humanoid woman, like she looked like a naked chick, but apparently she's from another planet or another galaxy, and she got stranded here on Earth. And like she would take this man as like a time travel, and they would literally go to every different part of the world, and she would ask him like, well, where are you now? And he would say a location in the world. She'd be like, no, like you're still here, like you're still on Earth. Everything you do is like a microeconomy. It's just one thing you do over here, just because it's thousands of miles away, doesn't mean it isn't eventually going to reach over here. And that is one thing that if I had the control to, or had the power to control people's will, I would want them to be more mindful of how we truly are one, and not so much of us versus them. Number 2, I would redistribute
You literally just jump from like one of the most deepest conceptual pieces, which I really feel I've seen that Australian movie. I used to room with this girl in DC who loved Australian films because they're
yeah,
depressing and she wanted to be depressing. And I feel like I've seen that movie. But I'm for the life of me, I'm gonna look this up. But just making sure, it's actually Anyway, okay, we'll move on. Number two, number two, number two. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the flow.
We can circle back. I mean, if we have time in the 15 minutes, maybe it'll
We
be in
will
like.
we will overtime circling back. I clicked it, I took notes. Anyway, okay, number
Yeah.
two.
So
You
to
might
build
hit
up.
15 minutes at this rate though.
Okay. So the next thing I would change, I would want to redistribute resources. I mean, you point blank said it earlier when you asked, leading into these questions, where, you know, the things that are noted, even on the lower scale of just Iowa and not necessarily the whole country, but the fact that every time people in the world think of Iowa, they don't think of people like me. I mean, I'm not alone when I go outside of the state and people ask, where are you from? I'm like, Iowa. Like, really? No, like, where are you really from? Like, yeah, bro, born and raised 30 years in Iowa. I am from Iowa. There are Black people, other people that look like me too. So, I mean, if there was the ability to distribute resources, making it, having what is seen by everybody truly reflect the community that it is. And so, to your point, like when people think of Iowa, they only think of white people. But like you said, Des Moines would not be what it is today in terms of the growing metropolis if it wasn't for organizations like the NAACP, or even youth organizations like MBCDI, Jack and Jill of America, the NAACP Youth Council. I mean, these are all things that I myself was a part of and made me much more civically minded and made me more conscious of the first answer, like what I do, how it impacts other people around me. And sometimes that even means, taking a step back, not necessarily, always being the person in the forefront, and, take more of a back seat and help others shine. I think right now, as we are experiencing the COVID, the fact that the first day we talked about it being in America, all the shelves were empty. And it's like, what do you really think you're going to go through toilet paper like that for? Like, you think just because you're home, you're going to have like irritable bowel syndrome all the time? Like, I don't understand like that selfishness of needing to hoard resources. For what purpose, when there are, like, you're saving it for yourself and your family, and it's good to be prepared, but something like that just comes from a place of selfishness. um and just the fact that what happens or what is allowed to happen in this world is typically controlled by a small minority, which impacts everybody that for the most part doesn't look like them or have the same life experiences. It's just, yeah. If number one were to come true, then number two would just be a, evolution of that.
So what's number three then?
Ooh, peace. Like,
You can't make number three a friggin' cop out. You're like you
no,
built
like, right?
to
Okay, so
the
number three,
world thesis and you went with peace. Bullshit.
world peace. Number
No.
three, um, I don't even know. Like, those are just the things that have really been on my mind for quite some time, and even more so, as I'm, being forced with, to face mortality with COVID-19. But shoot, number three, it would just be peace. Like, giving people a sense of purpose, peace within themselves. Um, Jealousy and resentment seem to be very infectious. So, yeah, I would just, want those things to not inhabit the minds of people. But this is the world we are in. You asked me for a wish. That's what I wanted.
Hey, John Lennon, calm down. I'm not trying to like bust you on that one, okay? Because I'm not opposed to that.
No, like, I wish I had something like, oh, that was just like a little, more, thought out and in depth. Like, no, I think it's just simple, like peace of mind. Like, I feel like if people were more at peace with themselves, again, cyclical, 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 like all these things could happen. But they're they're also interdependent, and there's so many other variables that really hinder those wishes from coming true.
I mean, in some ways, it's almost like the way that you laid them out, like while you laid out the I versus me and the equitable distribution and peace, though, it's almost like if while those may be the objectives in order of importance, I think I agree, unless I'm misinterpreting you. It seems like as level of importance for implementation, they're inverted. Like, I think there is a level of internal lack of peace. I don't know what there is, of uncertainty, of um, with the COVID, with the COVID stuff going on, the fact that so many people that looked above it are now stuck. You know,
Yeah,
I've got a buddy who's on the verge of losing his house, and another who's on the verge of losing 30 years of wealth acquisition, all as a function of implementation of PPP in a lot of ways.
yeah,
Um, it's amazing how fragile we are.
yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, if you really think about it, like all these resources that people are hoarding and say they need, like how often were you buying those things when you went to the store in the first place? Like if you're gonna like, stock up on, first aid kits, I think that's a smart, stock up. But like I'm not saying for a family of 5 get 20 first aid kits. Like no, like instead of buying one, get two. But at the same
Are you
time,
trying to
like
resell first aid kits?
no, no, no. You know
Okay.
what? If I could, I would sell the heck out of them things. Like I do. I find them so convenient.
Because
Um,
I haven't seen your trunk, but it sounds like you got 56 in your trunk right now, which
No, I really don't. And I will say, like, when I go to the store, I do not stock like people have been stocking. Like, first, most importantly, because I had gone shopping before the pandemic situation. And so it's like, I didn't really need it. And then, like, 3 weeks in, I'm like, holy shit, like, I'm almost out of toilet paper and I can't find any. And I'm like, contacting people, like, somebody would contact a drug dealer, like, hey, you got that QT? Like I just, yeah, no,
I
like
need to
I
roll. I
have
need to roll.
not overbulked like that. And so it's just astonishing to me when I see people do it and it's just like, why? Like I know that every other family in Des Moines does not have a house of 20. Why do you need that many supplies?
These are points to be raised in the overtime. However, I almost thought we're going to hit 15 minutes. I have
Okay.
managed to derail you from your timeline.
Question. Okay.
You were on time. You were on
Oh,
time. I've completely derailed you.
okay.
However, most innovative failure.
Mm,
Like,
most.
what was that thing where you're like, you know what? This is going to be awesome. It wasn't.
Oh, shoot. I have had so many random DIY projects where I was just like, this is going to be good. It just was not what I had planned it to be. I don't know if they were necessarily that innovative. Um, Shoot. I don't know. Like, it's like I try and do things and I'm like, oh, yeah, I tried that, whatever. I don't know. I'm really struggling. Um,
To be fair, Jay Peterson, the last one, was innovative with his question. He identified his biggest failure and
mhm.
then identified that he was involved with this group that was like delivering internet to libraries across the country. So he like broke the two up. I was a little mad because like that's not the point of the question, but
Yeah, I'm
I
not
guess
even
you're
that
being
cool. No.
he was being innovative with his innovative failure question.
Ah, okay. Most innovative failure. Well, hmm. I don't. I'm gonna have to come back on this one, or maybe have a couple of drinks where it like sparks a suppressed memory.
Don't
I
worry.
don't have many
We'll
failures, right? No.
we'll edit this piece out.
Yeah.
And when I mean we'll edit this out, I won't. We're just going. I only use trim. I don't trim.
Okay. Low grade editing skills. Okay.
You don't want to try and live outside your means.
Yeah, that's
Hence
fine.
your first three. I'm at peace with the fact that I can only trim.
Okay. Yay!
How whenever you
No.
can.
Yeah, no. Okay, so you brought up a good point earlier too of where I don't think about like how many amazing people that I have in my life. I mean, I think about these things, but I don't think about these things like other people think about them, and I do take it, take for granted those people. So like you mentioned Cameron Middlebrooks. Yeah, him and I grew up together. Like we had different organizations together. So I would consider him, like a longtime friend, but he's just Cam. Like we've shot the shit before. Like, we've seen each other in not the greatest of light before. So it's like, oh yeah, you're a human being. But no, I mean, I don't, even celebrities, I don't look at them any different than any other person. They just, have a blessed life. But the one person I probably take for granted the most is my Aunt Mary, Dr. Mary Chapman, who, I mean, she's a lot to live up to. It's kind of intimidating and empowering and prideful all at the same time. I mean, she has been a part of so many different projects to empower and better the community of Des Moines over the last 40 plus years. And it's like, it's hard for me to think about like, oh, what is my most innovative failure when like you see the accomplishments of people like that, and it's just like, oh, like it's not really that great. I don't really know, because it's like, I'm wanting to achieve a much higher level of failure, if that makes any sense. Um, but yeah, I definitely take for granted some of the other amazing Black women in Des Moines who have basically raised me. I mean, the people that my aunts are friends with have seen me grow up, have attended my graduation parties, have still wish me a happy birthday on Facebook. I've had many amazing interactions with representative. Oh my God, now I just cannot think. Oh, now I cannot think.
Are
And
you
I was
blank on
like,
Aiko? You
oh,
mean Ford?
no, 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 no. Helen Miller, Representative Helen Miller. I'm like,
Oh.
why am I I'm like, I'm thinking and trying to talk at the same time. I'm like, I'm seeing her face. I'm imagining our conversations over dinner. And it's like, oh, I have an opportunity to meet such amazing women, Black women in Iowa that are making a positive difference in their communities. And it's just like, I get awestruck about the people that I meet, but at the same time, um, I want to absorb their essence. It sounds like I'm a witch or something. That's not what I meant it to say. But it's just like, yeah, I want to try and stay humble and try and take the lessons from, um, you know, these fellow female leaders and try and better myself. I mean, I'm a constant work in progress. So
We've got 53 rabbit holes. I want to go down those. So, because I keep promising everyone, if anyone watches these, and I swear some people are going to like whitelist my emails finally and watch one.
yeah,
If they do, we're a little late. However, this is the hard stop.